So I want in terms of the singing, because one of the things you talked about is your ability going back to your theatric days to be able to take a song and to be able to emotionally connect with the song and be able to go ahead and deliver the song with that emotion and feeling, which a lot of people can't. A lot of people, they can sing loud, they can project their voices. There's this whole melisma thing that they have, but it's rare. Like Michael Jackson used to be able to do that. He used to be able to, especially when he was young. He could take a song and he could sing it, and he could the lyrics and the music. He can attach whatever. He can connect with the song, and then the emotion and everything would come out where you could feel it. So when you look at having that skill set, so I want to talk about the skill of singing, because people think about people singing demos and females singing hooks, and they're just thinking they're just singing. So can you talk about the skill that it takes? Because you kind of referenced that the situation with Howie, where you have to be able to sing. It may be a sampled loop, and then of course later on there's the hooks. So can you talk about the skill that it takes to be unique and deliver those vocals on those songs that those producers are making?
I mean, for me, I think it's just natural being a musician, growing up around so many great people. You knew that you had to challenge yourself, because you wanted to be the one talked about. You didn't want to be the one that yeah, you want to be like, yo, you heard that new joint by, you wanted to be that person. So you pushed yourself, self rather. Um, I just grew up around so many great people that I had references of what good was, you know what I mean? And what okay was. And so I don't know. I just knew what was hot. You know what's hot. You know what's not hot. Um, but I think that growing up around so many people that are just as dope as you, if not doper, gave you something to strive for. Like, yeah, I want to have a joint where they be like, yeah, Crystal, you did that, yo, that's man, that's the mindset. Um, the singing, I, I've been doing it all my life. Um, I have so many awesome examples. Like my mom, so like when I was doing Mom, I Want to Sing, my mom was going to college to get her degree, and her minor was music. So I basically, and I was at that age, that preteen. She didn't want me home by myself because I was being fast with the boys and all of that. So not preteens, but pre-high school. So she would make me go with her to school, to her university, and I learned from Professor Dunn theory. So I was not only learning how to, just sing from the soul, but I was also learning theory and how to project and enunciate and don't sing from your nose, your diaphragm, and blah, blah, blah. So I definitely had an understanding on what exceptional singing versus, okay, they could hold a tune versus, nah. I knew what was dope and what would, like, it has a lot to do with my lineage. My father, he played the organ. Like I remember our church choir, 13, 14, 15. I love, it was two main influences aside from like, the Stevies and everybody else. It was the Clark sisters and the Bosch family. And I love Twinkie specifically because she produced. And I didn't even know I was going to be a producer at the time. I just knew, like, I had played guitar. I took guitar in junior high school, and I took piano in high school. So my brother played the bass, my father played the organ. I used to want them to shed and jam with me, but they never would because I played little country songs, but I knew how to read. And they'd be like, oh, that's cute. But, that made me want to understand, And I just always had an ear. Like I could always hear. That's how I started producing. I was like, hey, I wanted a certain sound and I wasn't getting it. So I got one of my friends. I think the first sequence I learned was the MPC-60. Gordon Williams, Commissioner Gordon. He's a legendary engineer, producer, worked on Lawrence album. He's the one who showed me how to work the MPC 60. Once I learned how to work that, I was like, oh, if y'all don't give me what I want, I'm gonna give it to myself. So
Yeah. You know what's
I
going to
think
be
it has to
helpful?
do with the musical influence around,
I think what will be helpful is actually if we go through a timeline of around of those of your career, so then we can start filling in the gaps because of your connection with Aaron, how did when he joined Guy and they came out with Groove Me, what was your thoughts of, oh, look at Aaron from church?
I remember seeing Aaron in the Red Parrot back in the day. It was like maybe 88, 87 or something. And Aaron used to stutter, and Aaron used to fib a lot. And Aaron was like, oh, I'm coming out in a group and this and that. And I always thought he was lying. But he introduced me to Teddy. And Teddy, had a name at the time. So I was like, all right, maybe he really, everybody knew Aaron could sing, you know what I'm saying, in church and just growing up or whatever. But I didn't really think he was coming out with a solo album. Until, like I said, I saw him in the Red Parrot. He introduced me. He was like, for real, coming out, blah, 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 blah. So when it came out, I wasn't surprised, always been very talented.
What did you make of the sound and what that, because that must have been new for you even as a New Yorker, the Groove Me and that whole New Jack.
That sound basically, we got a taste of it with Keith. So Keith kind of set the tone for what Teddy was doing with that Jack swing. So because I Wanna was crazy, that whole album was a classic. So that kind of gave us a taste of what it was yet to come. By the time God came, God had New York City on lock. It was just that time. It just felt good. It just felt, to me, I didn't think of it as new. It was just more funky. It was like funky, hip hoppy, a lot of gospel, a lot of gospel chords and minor diminishes. So to me, it didn't really sound new. It just sounded like a hit. It just sounded funky. It just sounded funky more than anything.
At the time when this was out,
That combination of hip hop and R&B.
Yeah, at the time when that was coming out, what were you doing around that 88, 89?
I was on Broadway.
Oh, you were still on Broadway.
I was on Broadway around that time. Yeah, I was still on
Okay.
Broadway.
So what year
I
did
was
you
doing
leave?
demos and things like that, but I hadn't really made a mark in terms of the music scene. I was just doing demos, working with people.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between.
For even loving us,
on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for me, but just for me,
No. Okay.
they don't understand what Jonas Boys are winning all spirits.
Play it.
I love all different genres.